Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're exploring another major area of political thought, the lower left quadrant of the classic political compass. This space is usually associated with liberal left or libertarian left ideologies. In simple terms, that means two key ideas combined, a strong emphasis on social equality and a strong emphasis on personal freedom. Unlike authoritarian systems that prioritize control and hierarchy, liberal left ideologies generally support decentralization, civil liberties, and reducing economic inequality. They argue that people should be free in their personal lives and that society should be structured to minimize exploitation and unfair advantage. Over the next 10 minutes, we'll break down where these ideas came from, how they evolved, and where we see their influence today. The story begins with the Enlightenment in the 18th century. Philosophers started arguing that all human beings are born with natural rights, rights to freedom, expression, and participation in government. At the same time, early critics of economic inequality began questioning systems where wealth and land were concentrated in the hands of a few elites. Thinkers like Jean-Jacques Rousseau argued that extreme inequality corrupts society and undermines true freedom. These ideas laid the foundation for movements that believed liberty and equality must go hand in hand. Freedom without equality, they argued, isn't real freedom, because if you're starving or exploited, your choices aren't truly free. In the 19th century, industrialization transformed society. Factories grew, cities expanded, and working conditions were often harsh. This is when socialist and anarchist ideas began to spread. Socialists argued that workers should have control over the means of production, factories, land, and resources, instead of private owners profiting from their labor. But not all socialists believed in a strong central state. Libertarian socialists and anarchists believed the opposite, that both capitalism and authoritarian government create oppression. They imagined societies built on voluntary cooperation, worker-owned enterprises, and decentralized communities. The key idea was simple. Equality and freedom should grow together, not cancel each other out. Anarchism is one of the clearest examples of bottom-left political thought. Despite common stereotypes, classical anarchism isn't about chaos. It's about eliminating unjust hierarchies, especially the state and exploitative economic systems. Thinkers like Mikhail Bakunin and Peter Kropotkin argued that humans are capable of organizing themselves through mutual aid and voluntary association. They believe centralized authority often creates more harm than good. In practice, anarchist experiments have been rare and often short-lived, such as during the Spanish Civil War in the 1930s. Still, anarchist ideas continue to influence modern activism, especially movements focused on horizontal organization and community-based decision-making. Not all left liberal ideologies reject the state entirely. Democratic socialism and social democracy developed as more moderate alternatives. Democratic socialists believe in achieving economic equality through democratic institutions rather than revolution. Social democrats, meanwhile, support a mixed economy, private markets combined with strong welfare systems, labor protections, and public services like healthcare and education. Countries in Northern Europe are often cited as examples of social democratic influence. These systems aim to reduce inequality while preserving political rights, multi-party elections, and civil rights. The bottom left quadrant here emphasizes that democracy must include both political rights and economic fairness. Another key feature of liberal left ideologies is the defense of civil liberties. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, LGBTQ+ rights, gender equality, and minority protections are central concerns. Many movements in the 20th century, civil rights movements, feminist movements, anti-colonial struggles, were influenced by left libertarian principles. The argument is that hierarchy based on race, gender, or identity is unjust and should be dismantled. Unlike authoritarian systems that enforce uniform cultural norms, the liberal left typically supports pluralism, the idea that many lifestyles and identities can coexist peacefully within the same society. In the 21st century, liberal left ideas appear in progressive political movements around the world. These movements often focus on climate change, wealth inequality, universal health care, workers' rights and the gig economy, and corporate accountability. They also tend to support decentralization of power and transparency in government. While approaches differ from country to country, the common thread is a belief that both concentrated wealth and concentrated political power threaten real freedom. Some advocate for participatory democracy, where citizens have more direct involvement in decision-making beyond just voting every few years. Of course, liberal left ideologies face criticism. Opponents argue that too much economic redistribution can discourage innovation or economic growth. Others claim that decentralized systems may struggle with coordination during crises. There are also internal debates within the left itself, between those who prioritize identity issues and those who focus mainly on class and economic structures. These disagreements show that the lower left quadrant is not a single unified ideology, but a broad family of ideas that sometimes compete with each other. Still, they share a commitment to reducing hierarchy and expanding personal and economic freedom. Understanding these ideas helps us better navigate today's political conversations. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to explore any of these movements in more detail, there's plenty more to discuss in future videos.